Obviously, the quarterback position is going to orchestrate much of what happens. Yes, the running game has to come in. Yes, the wide receivers need to do their part. And to me, it all has to work together. But today I want to focus a little bit on those wide receivers, and we'll do that. Timing, separation is key. We want to see a lot out of those guys, especially from what I thought I saw during training camp. Separation, timing, all the things that are going to help Zach Calzada. And with that, we begin the Go Hour with our Heisman Trophy voter and good buddy, Olin Buchanan. Good morning, OB.
Morning.
So,
day closer
to game time. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we put so much emphasis on having one of the best running games in the country. And I truly believe that. And yes, last week there were plays to be made with open wide receivers. There were also wide receivers that didn't get separation at times. So what needs to change this week to open up everything else to give Zach some breathing room and feel better? And it kind of goes along with my question, who needs to step up? Everybody needs to step up when you are down to your backup quarterback, but who really needs to step up to make life easier for Zach Calzada? So I don't have one position, but I'd like to see more from the wide receivers. Obviously, I want to see the offensive line do better as they did in the second half of the game in Denver.
Yeah, that's a tough question because you could just say, well, the offensive line has to step up. But we've talked about, if you look at A-Chain running on the corners last week, there was more success there than I think even the coaches want to acknowledge. Was there not?
I mean 9 carries for 50 yards, I think it was. Yeah, that worked.
And he didn't have a crazy long one on anything. And I think when he ran a couple times inside, there wasn't anything there. So on the corners, I thought that they could run. I think we both agree that they absolutely abandoned the run too much. Look, if they can run consistently, that's the best advantage that any quarterback has, because you're moving the ball by just handing off, and the defense has to react to that.
But I guess the point is,
but how do you run better?
You run better if Calzada's able to string some passes together, right?
They would have run a lot better last week, and he hit some open receivers.
And then at the end of the game last week, when he was effective, it was almost too late to try to eat some time up, right? You got, after that drive where he fumbled the ball, we got to score now. We got to move the ball quickly, 70 yards.
They had a couple runs on that play, on that drive. I think that was the one where A-Chain had like a 12-yard run around the right end, and Bryce Foster decleated Nate Landman.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. They were going to throw more. There was more of a sense of urgency, as there should have been. Yeah, it's just it's so, as I use Jimbo's word, choreographed, and success in one area leads to success in another. We all know that. We've heard, set up your passing game, use the running game, set up your passing game, and then that kind of changed. But in Jimbo's offense, I think that's still a basic principle.
This week is going to feel different. Obviously, the opponent makes it feel different. But I was reading some of the transcripts of Jimbo's show yesterday and talking about having a little bit more motion and how good Zach looked at practice on Wednesday. All those things, yeah, they're just words, but I have come to learn that Jimbo just tells you what he's thinking at the time. I don't think he's going to just blow smoke our way.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Now, it doesn't mean he's always right.
Right.
But I think in his mind, he believes that Zach Calzada can be a very good quarterback and had an outstanding practice to make him feel like, he's going to be better. And I think he's going to be better. First of all, he can't be much worse, but mainly because he has this week to practice and to understand that he's the guy and all those things, to get 80% of the snaps. So all those reasons to think that he'll be better.
I think we all have certain roles in whatever job, and going back to comparing jobs, right? If I switch places with you and I said, OB, you're a broadcaster and a writer, but I'm going to have you steer the ship and I'm going to be the analyst. You could do it. It may take a few reps. It may, and last week's game plan was tailored towards what Haynes King does. This week is going to be tailored to what Zach does.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to look and see ask Zach Calzada what plays he likes best. You're going to put him in a position to do the things that he can do best. Doesn't mean that you won't do a lot of your running plays anyway.
Right.
Even some option. They ran some option. Zach's not a stiff. He's not a statue. He can run. He just doesn't run like Haynes. But
who does? Right.
Right. So it's the old deal like, they both might run for 50 yards in a game. Zach just might do it on one play. And,
several.
Haynes might do it on one, and Zach might take 10. So I think what they want to do offensively doesn't change, but the way you approach it will.
Sure. Let's give out the phone number. If you want to call in the show, we'll accept that phone call on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. All guests and callers join the show on that BCSI hotline. You no longer have to drive to Houston or Dallas or Austin for major eye surgery, such as glaucoma or cataract issues. Let Dr. K take care of you right here in the BCS, located on the top level of the Physician Center, called 979-701-2020. You can check out the website, mybcsi.com. You can also check out the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. Yesterday, we did release our show up to the second college football and had some good stuff there. Really enjoyed doing the program, and we will certainly have more of those episodes throughout the week. Tony Barnhart was on the show. Love Tony. Yeah. In fact, usually on Thursdays, I try to bring a clip of that. I didn't put it on the rundown. I may get together with Dalton and see if there's something from Tony we can put out at some point during the show. But with that, we go visit our good friend Dalton Hughes behind the glass, even though there is no glass. Good morning to you, Dalton.
Good morning. There is no glass here, but I am back behind the wall to y'all's left. If you ask me what needs to change for help out Zach Calzada, it's the offensive line. It helps out two things. It helps out the running game, helps him in the passing game, calm him down, make it easy.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't know I worked with such a violent crew. I'm over here, just studying, working hard, getting ready for the show. OB and Dalton are going back and forth about old fight stories. I was really shocked at the kind of aggression that you two have.
Well, wait a minute. I thought, didn't this all start with one of your fight stories?
I think it started with Dalton. I think Dalton's talking about like how he broke his wrist on a friend's face or something like that.
That was my brother. That's Billy gave him the reputation of the bar brawler around here a while ago. So, but yeah.
Just kidding.
Olin, that's what happens when you're the derelict that Olin is, and I aspire to be like Olin one day.
I haven't been in many fights, and the ones I have been, I was usually on the wrong end. There was a couple that I won.
Right.
But I haven't been in many fights. I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Especially now. Now, I almost, it's well known now, I almost got into a fight at the Gator Bowl.
What?
I was there for that one too. Right. How much help was I that night, OB?
None.
Yeah, sorry.
And fortunately, Gabe was there to talk some sense into me.
Yeah.
And I got to think, what happens is, we were walking out the door of the hotel to go. And Gabe's like, you don't want to do this? And then I think, I got one in high school. What if this gets me fired?
Right.
So I had to, but I that was the last time in like 20 years I've actually wanted to fight.
Yeah, nobody really wants to fight.
No, I did.
You want to.
This guy.
But usually you don't.
He's a reporter with a big mouth, thinks he knows a lot.
So it's the kind of guy I'd like to fight too.
Yeah, well, I think Dalton would tell you that this guy would have deserved everything he got.
Well, media fights are funny, especially on Twitter. When you see people going back and forth, they're always funny. I have not been involved in one. I wouldn't mind a TexAgs fight night, as we discussed. Bronny versus Dalton could be awesome.
That would be.
No one signed up for sumo.
See, I was going to say, that's a sumo wrestle. That's not a boxing match.
That'd be great. Zane and Gabe as a tag team versus me. Awesome.
I would just like to see Zane and Gabe.
That would be good too.
Yeah. I'd put my money on
two
Zane.
svelte men just going at it in the ring.
Oh, let's move on. Let's go to the News and Social Center where we find Tomas Romo. Good morning to you, Tomas.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Man, your voice is deep today.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
He looks like he's ready to fight somebody.
Hello, Tomas. How are you?
Sorry.
Just feeling good this morning. Feeling good.
Yeah, man.
Starting off, Bennett ties at Merido Collegiate Invitational. Texas A&M men's golf. Sam Bennett registered his 9th career top 5 finish as he tied for 3rd at the Merido Collegiate Invitational.
Way to go, Sam. Let's go.
SEC announces 2022 baseball schedule. The Aggies' SEC assignment features home series against Auburn, Kentucky, Arkansas, South Carolina, and Mississippi State. The Maroon and White will embark on road series at LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss. Texas A&M opens SEC play with a trip to Baton Rouge to play LSU on March 18th.
That'll be a good one right there. What else you got for us? Any text messages to get into on the A&B text line?
I have one question for you, David, actually.
All right.
Which question mark on the team are you most confident that the team can figure out this year? And which question mark are you least confident the team can figure out this season? Matt from San Antonio.
Matt, appreciate the question. OB, let's tackle this together. I'll just give you some spitball thoughts here. I am most confident that the offensive line is going to figure it out. It may take them a little longer than we expect, but when you've got the kind of talent that Bryce Foster has, obviously we know how great Kenyon Green is. I just think the parts around it, they're going to figure it out. I think we saw it a little bit towards the end of the last game. I want to see more of it. It is a question mark for sure that needs to get figured out, but that's the one I'm most confident about. The one I'm least confident about. Let's see, what are some question marks? Wide receiver's a little bit of a question mark, sure. Offensive line already addressed that. The secondary, I'm not questioning that at all, especially with the defensive line. I would say there isn't one I'm least confident about because I do believe in the wide receivers. I just need to see it happen here in the next couple of weeks. What would you say, OB, to both of those?
Well,
most confident and least confident?
Well, I think I've gotten very confident that they're going to – I don't know if there was a question mark at the linebackers, but I think they made a big move forward last week with Andre White starting.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of those guys that maybe not the fastest, but I think he has the best linebacker instincts. So I think maybe linebacker was an area of concern, especially after the first game without Buddy Johnson there.
Yeah, we were watching it together, and you were pointing it out. That game, there were some question marks there at the linebacker spot, but it certainly got better.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think Andre's a big part of that. I'm with you on the offensive line. Sometimes you got to help out the offensive line too, and that goes back to what we were saying. Hey, Colorado was playing 8 in a box and walking up a 9th one a lot. In that situation, it's hard to run block against anybody.
Yeah.
And the receivers and the quarterback are going to have to make some plays to force teams out of that kind of defense. So I'm with you on the offensive line. And the thing, quite frankly, I'm going to have to say I'm until I see anything different that I'm most concerned with is quarterback.
Sure.
That
is definitely a question mark that for this team to have the success, any type of big-time success, he has to take his game to a higher level.
Oh, absolutely. And he might, Jimbo made the statement this week about cautioning anyone to make judgments on one game. But if that's all you've got, you haven't seen a lot to make. Now, you saw a good fourth quarter.
And you saw a terrible 2 quarters, or 2.5 quarters, right?
And quite frankly, throughout his career, and that's probably not fair, but in the first game against Kent State, he had an interception. Talking about Calzada.
Yeah.
He's been okay in mop-up duty 2 years ago, but that's hard to judge anybody. I'm just saying, what have we seen other than that fourth quarter to make us say, yeah, Zach Calzada is going to be able to lead this team to wins in the games they're supposed to win.
Yeah, I don't think the game on Saturday is a fair way to gauge him because it's euphoric for a moment because he had that game-winning touchdown pass, and that's what we leave with, that memory. Like, dude, he struggled, but goodness gracious, he was great. And I really do believe he is not as bad as he was when he started. I believe that was 100% nerves, had no touch on the ball. So I almost look at that last game as at least he left on a high note.
Right.
Let's see how he does against an inferior opponent and then how he does against an up-and-coming team in the SEC. After those 2 weeks, then I can tell you going into the Alabama game, this kid's got it. I think we have a chance. Or no, we have no chance.
I can agree with all that. But I have to say that even though I agree with not judging anyone after one game, to me, that's the area of where that's the biggest question mark that I'm unsure about.
Yep. Well,
I think the receivers are going to be fine. Chase Lane, I think, is really good and had a bad day. We know what Anias is. I saw sometimes he was open. You're skipping the ball to him.
Yep.
And
Chapman.
He's proved himself before. He had the one. It's hard to call it a drop because he was so well covered, but I thought it was maybe the second best pass.
Behind the touchdown.
Calzada threw the whole game. They were backed up, and he threw about a 40-yard pass. Hit Calzada. Now, Calzada, there's some hand fighting going on, but it's a ball that he usually catches, I think.
Yeah. All right, hey, if you want to call in the show, you can when we come back. Time for a little Heisman talk here on the program. We'll get into that with OB. It is TexAgs Radio, brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is The Zone, Aggieland's all-sports station.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Casasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Casasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at energyogre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Game day on the Zone starts 3 hours before kickoff with the Twin Peaks pregame show, and it's powered by TexAgs.com. Game day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Gage Gandy Bail Bonds, Bobcat of the Brazos Valley, Tradition Mobile One Lube, and Frontier Communications. After listening into the pregame show, you can hear every Aggie football game, home road national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Having a good old time. I want to remind you guys, if you're in the market for an engagement ring, wedding band, or stackable anniversary ring, save the date for David Gardner's ring in season promotion. That'll be October the 13th through the 16th. David Gardner's will have an extended selection of diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands, and more. Don't miss an opportunity to swing by while they have the largest selection of the year at the best prices. Go check it out, davidgarnersjewelers.com. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got some text messages that we'll get into there in a moment on the A&B text line. But right now, it is time for our Heisman Watch, brought to you by the Shurtleff Law Firm. Shurtleff law firm delivering justice for those who need it the most. OB, that list may have changed a little bit from last week. Let's kind of go over it.
Well, it always does. And it's hard early because, again, I'm not going to give guys credit for what they did last year. And I put a lot of emphasis on what you do against Power 5 opponents and good teams. So as of today, I would go Jack Cohn, the Notre Dame quarterback. He dislocated his finger, had it popped into place, came back and threw an 18-yard touchdown pass to hold off that Toledo upset bit. So they won that game. He finished with 239 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, though he did have an interception that was returned for a touchdown. In 2 games, he has 605 passing yards and 6 touchdowns.
I believe, are they experimenting with 2 quarterbacks there at Notre Dame?
No, I think he's their guy.
He's only their guy?
Yeah,
okay.
Transfer from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know he's had great numbers, but for some reason I thought they changed something up.
To my knowledge, he's their guy.
Yep. He's had, in that moment where he pops his finger back in, I mean. I
have that issue all the time.
Oh, what happened there?
I've broken both my little fingers multiple times, so.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
That looks like it hurts.
Yeah, it is sometimes. So number 4 on my list, I'm going with C.J. Verdell, the Oregon running back, because of the performance he had against Ohio State. He had 74 yards in the season opening win over Fresno State, but he followed that up, 161 yards rushing, and scored touchdowns on runs of 14 and 77 yards.
Goodness gracious.
Against Ohio State. Also caught a 14-yard touchdown pass in that game. So far he has 235 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns and 4 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown.
I'd say that's good.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Now let's go pretty SEC heavy from here on out. Number 3, I got Christian Rodriguez, the Kentucky running back. He's the nation's second leading rusher at this point. He had 207 yards, 3 touchdowns in that 35-28 victory over Missouri, so they needed every one of them.
Great game there.
And overall he's rushed for 332 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Pretty good right there.
Yeah, and then Matt Corral at Ole Miss, an abbreviated appearance. He didn't have to play the whole game against Austin Peay. But he did what you're supposed to do, 281 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a 54-17 victory. He's passed for 662 yards in 6 games and rushed for 90 yards and a touchdown. You could say, well, what separates him in your mind from a Spencer Rattler? And I say, well, at least he played well against a Power 5 team in Louisville last week.
Right.
Spencer Rattler didn't play particularly well and wasn't even against a Power 5 team, 2 interceptions against Tulane. And then, of course, he had a huge game against Western Carolina because if you're good, that's what you're supposed to do against teams like that. And number 1.
I like what you just said there for us to think about this weekend. If you're good, you do what you're supposed to do against teams like that.
That's right. And then number 1, I don't know how you can – I don't mean you, how anybody would disagree with this. Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback. Yeah. Had a stellar.
Everything they said about him before the season so far looks true.
Yeah, had a stellar showing in the season opening win over Miami, and then he followed that up, again, doing what you're supposed to do in a 48-14 win over Mercer. He completed 19 of 27 for 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has 571 passing yards and 7 touchdowns in 2 games.
I think that's good.
Anybody else in your mind that should be?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I'll go through it a little bit for a second. I think Jack Cohn, the one thing that will hurt him is I don't think Notre Dame's very good this year, right?
It's true.
But through right now, he is definitely one of the guys. I think Matt Corral at the end of it may be the best one of that group. Ole Miss looks legit. I want to see what they look like moving forward, but they look legit so far. And, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State, maybe, I think they can bounce back because Oregon's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. No, I think that's, it's funny. There was a point where I was like, maybe there's a guy from A&M that will get in that conversation, and it's still early on. But right now, they got a lot of other things to fix before we get there.
Yeah, that's true. Spiller's they're going to be, if they do have anybody, I think it'll be Spiller.
And then you could look back at that Colorado game and be like, this guy, not only did he rush for 1,500 yards, not only has he helped the Aggies to a whatever record this year, when they needed him most, he found a way to matter, and he did that in Colorado, getting open.
Those last two catches he made were as big a plays as you can make. I mean, because he saved the game.
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely did. All right, so when we come back, Stephen McGee going to join us for his weekly hit. We appreciate that. But right now, I want to talk about the Association of Former Students. If you guys are coming in this weekend, you're going to see things are looking different out there. Aggie Park is being constructed, and it's going to be a little inconvenience for a little while, just a short while, but next fall when it comes. And this is just like when they were redoing Kyle Field. It's just a little inconvenient for a little bit. But trust me, when it's all said and done, it is going to be phenomenal. You're going to really, really love it. Ring Day this year, September 24th. The Association of Former Students is involved in everything. They've been supporting the Aggie Network for forever, 140 years, longer than that. Financial gifts from that network have empowered the association to be here, there, and everywhere. And it's not expensive, guys. $100 a year, about $9 a month. You're going to get the decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. To learn more about the impact of the association, get involved, make a gift, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Get a free car seat inspection the morning of Saturday, September 25th at the Brazos Center parking lot. Appointments are required. Find the link on our community calendar at WTAW.com. The Brazos Valley Beekeepers Association invites you to their one-day bee school on Saturday, September 25th. Visit bvbeaks.org for more information. The Brazos Valley African American Museum announces the 500 Giving Campaign to raise funds for a museum director. Be one of the 500 by going online to bvaam.org. The Bryan High Fine Arts Department presents These Shining Lives. Performances run September 23rd through October 2nd. Purchase tickets online at bryanhightheater.ludus.com. Your home for football with the Fightin' Texas Aggies, the Bryan Vikings, the Houston Texans, plus Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night NFL from Westwood One is Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon. When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading, incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon, LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long, thanks to Prosperity Bank, Kelly Burt Dozer, Zwerneman Flooring, and BCS Toyota. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Floater for Spiller. Touchdown, Aggies!
Head coach Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies are ready to rise to the top of the SEC.
Tackled short. The Aggies defense does it again.
Join us Saturday. The Aggies host the New Mexico Lobos. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 a.m. and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And backup quarterbacks coming in, leading the Aggies to victory in the fourth quarter. Good times here to break it all down with our good friend Stephen McGee, our QB1, Paragon Financial Group out there helping us all out here on the program. Stephen, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. The YouTube lead intro music gets better every week.
Dude, that song, I remember that song at the club back in the day. It was good. J.D. Wells.
What do you think about that, OB? Is that your jam on the radio right now?
I'm just glad I wasn't in the club.
Hey,
oh, man.
Stephen, let's talk a little bit about how Zach handled himself last week. Obviously, Calzada struggled out the gate, but the way he finished, just take us through the tale of the game from your perspective as a quarterback.
Yeah, gritty performance. It's tough. It's not easy coming off the bench. I think it's quite frankly easier to be the starter unless you're coming in off the bench and mop up duty against in a 42-0 game. That's different. But when the pressure's on, it's difficult. And I thought there was some struggles there. I think he's going to settle in this week. I'm really optimistic about him and what he's going to be able to do, especially in the passing game. He's got a big time arm. I think we saw some of that. He's a little bit erratic. I think just a little bit late. Everything happened a little bit slow for him in this game. He, I think, was trying to process and do too much mentally. And I think that showed itself in a couple of ways. Getting the team in out of the huddle, up to the line of scrimmage, snap the football. I think he's fighting the play clock too much. So if he can play faster, both pre-snap and then post-snap, I think he hesitated too much instead of just pulling the trigger and letting it rip on time. I think he really, stared down some guys a couple of times, and that's going to cost you in the SEC West. There's guys good enough to read your eyes and make a pick. So the Zach Calzada, though, that we saw in the spring game is a really, really good football player and can make a difference for this football team. So I'm extremely optimistic. Jimbo Fisher does wonders with quarterbacks. I've not seen him have a quarterback really, really struggle. And I don't think that's going to be the case with Zach Calzada. I'm pumped up for him, and it's a great opportunity. And this is why you come to schools like A&M to get this type of a chance.
You ever been in that spot, Stephen, where you had to come in? I don't mean being a backup quarterback and like you did against Texas that you have all week to prepare. I'm just talking about, have you ever been in a position where you had to come off the bench and play? And if so, how difficult is that to go in and play well?
It's tough. I did both with A&M when Reggie got hurt against Oklahoma in Norman. Never easy place to play, especially back in the day when they were really rolling out some good defenses. And then in Dallas on Christmas Eve, Kidna got hurt against the Arizona Cardinals, and I went in. And it's tough, especially in the NFL, because you don't get any reps. At least in college, you get some reps with the twos. And you've gotten quite a few reps through spring camp because there's more bodies, there's more reps to go around. In the NFL, you got 53 guys, so the ones get reps, and that's pretty much it. So you can imagine it's not an easy position to play if you're not getting reps, especially for a guy like myself. I learn by doing more so than I do just by watching. I'm not going to get that much better by watching. I know that they all say it's important for quarterbacks to watch and learn, and that's certainly an aspect there. But to your point, OB, getting actual reps is a difference maker.
Hey, Zach had some open receivers, especially early when he threw the ball way high on a lot of. One time it seemed like he threw 5 feet over Jalen Weidemeyer about 10, but he had a lot of overthrows. So what does that tell you?
Well, that he needs to bring it down a little. He does, though. He misses high. That's his deal. And I haven't really analyzed his fundamentals as much, whether that's his front knee locking, that can be elbow drops, and the ball has a tendency to sell when those type of things happen. I think fundamentally, though, you look at Zach, and you just big picture, his throwing motion's great. He's got a quick release. Everything is as you would want to see it, all the way up to the next level. I think for him, it's just a matter of relaxing and playing more than anything, and just not allowing the distractions of the environment, the situation to affect the play and the talent. I think once the game slows down for Zach, you're going to see that come out, just like we did in the spring game. In the spring game, he was delivering darts on the money, tight man coverage. And I would argue our defense is better than Colorado's defense. And so we ran there's a lot of plays in the spring game where Zach was delivering shots in press man or 22 man where the windows are tight. You guys saw that on the cut-ups we did. So he's got that ability. There's no doubt about it. I think he's just got to settle in, trust what his eyes and his feet, stay with the rhythm of the clock of your feet, right? I talk a lot about that in the film room, but once you get late into the progression, you got to get low.
Worried at all about the running game, or was it just really because they weren't able to string together some passes early on, they weren't able to establish the run the way Colorado was defending them?
Yeah, and that's a great point too. It's a work in progress at a lot of positions, and offensive line, I think, is going to be okay, but we're not where we were last year, obviously. So the ability of this team, I'm not convinced today that we can line up against a team like we did last year against Florida. So let's say Bama or whoever that is, and just run the football at will. Like, hey, we're going to line up in 12 personnel and run it. We're going to do spiller right, spiller left, A-chain right, A-chain left. You know it's coming. We know it's coming. We're still going to get yards. I'm not sure we're there yet. And that's going to affect these young quarterbacks. So, yeah, it definitely does have an impact. We've seen both in weeks 1 and 2 just what a good running back and potential for a good run game can do to the pass game. It opened up huge plays. We saw that Caleb Chapman post route week 1 against Kent State and how that opened up. So, yeah, I think getting this offensive line locked in, both running game and passing game, getting pressure off Calzada, and if Haynes King does come back, whoever that is, they it'll get cleaner. I think it's going to only get better from here. I'm still very optimistic. There's a lot of ability on that offense. It's just there's new bodies, new faces, young guys.
So last week we did buy, sell, lease, and I forget who I took. I think I took as a sell Iowa State, and everybody looked at me crazy like, wait, you went outside of A&M? So can we get a group vote here? Are we allowed to go outside A&M or not? I want to make sure I don't break any rules here.
Well, you're the rule maker here.
All right, just want to make sure I got my buy-in from my peoples.
I'm all about it. It just shocked me up front. I'd always understood the rules to be A&M only, but I'm glad you're doing this.
All right. Well, if you're glad,
I don't want to sell anybody.
Yeah, I'm not
A&M wise.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go get a phone call from Jimbo later. All right, guys, let's get it going. Who are you buying this week, Steven?
Well, I'll buy Devin A-Chain. I think that it's time for him to have a big impact. I know he's had limited carries relative, but he's a game changer. And that speed element that he brings is a real difference maker. I don't know how it's going to happen, return game. I just think that he needs to have a big impact on this team and this offense somehow with a new quarterback in this offensive line, because I can still see him with that athleticism make things right, even when they're wrong as a play call perspective.
Love it. OB?
Antonio Johnson.
God, you took mine, bro.
God,
he's so
good.
He's so good and just getting better. And you can do so many things with him if he's rushing, if he's, I think you're seeing the beginning of a guy that's going to leave here and be considered great. And we throw the word great and legend around way too much, because if you have that many legends, then do you have any? But man, this guy, I think we're seeing just the beginning of things that when he leaves here, he's going to be remembered among the best.
All right, I'm going to have to take Jaden Peavy because you took the one I wanted to go with. And either one is a great answer, right? Peavy was huge last week, beyond the pick, but the ability to create havoc behind the line of scrimmage, the way he and I think DeMarvin Leal takes a lot of that heat off and allows others like Clemens and Peavy to shine. I'm going with Jaden Peavy. All right, let's go to sell. Who are you selling, Stephen?
I'll sell Texas in the SEC. I'd love to see it last week. It was a wonderful thing. I appreciate SEC shorts and their coverage of that. It was, if you haven't watched that video, the little 2-3 minute video that they put out, it's awesome. It is perfect. Welcome to the SEC West. I cannot wait to watch Texas be a bottom feeder.
OB, who are you selling?
I am selling Nick Constantino, the punter. And not because I'm aware he just had a
great
spectacular game.
Yeah.
But there's a couple reasons I'm selling. First of all, I don't think he's going to play much this week.
Okay.
So
he didn't pay much the first week.
Right. And I think it's going to be very similar. Now, he may get a couple of punts in there, but I just don't think you're going to see him.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to invest a lot in him or anything in him, because I just don't think he's going to play. Right. This would be the perfect time to sell him when he's coming off that. He's
Heck
high.
Yeah.
But also, he pisses me off because a guy, why you see a guy that's kind of cool with that accent, that handsome.
He's a punter too.
Yeah, and then you have to be and then you're a guy like me that had to grow up with this face. Man, you just the envy. This guy's going to probably make a lot of money just walking out on the field 5 times a game and kicking it. And he'll make more money in a year probably than I've made in my life.
Well, this is
true.
true.
And he's handsome. That pisses me off.
He's got it all.
Some people just get all the luck.
So I wasn't sure what the vote was going to be if we're allowed to go outside of A&M. I'm keeping it inside A&M for myself today, and this is just more of a long-term prognosis. More passing versus more running. I want to go back to our identity. We've seen a lot of passing the last couple of weeks. I understand the methodology behind it, but I still think the DNA of this team is to be able to run the ball effectively, and I want to see that long-term, which I think we will. I'm selling more passing versus running.
Okay.
All right. Nobody likes
I would have liked to have seen more running last week.
Yeah, just what I want to see. All right, so what are we leasing today, Steven?
I'll lease Anaya Smith. You guys know this. OB's heard me say it a million times last year. He's probably my favorite player. I love what he can bring to this team. He's a put me wherever you need me coach type player. He'll play you on a concrete football field. He doesn't care. I think he just loves the game. He's a talented guy too, which matters, but some drops, just not consistently getting open right now, in my opinion. I haven't seen the same level of production that I was expecting to see. I know it's only been 2 games. It's early. You got young quarterbacks. I'm not putting it all on him, but I think that the best of Anaya Smith is yet to come, and I'm excited to see that difference maker along with A-Chain on this offense. We've seen a good dose of Spiller, but these 2 guys need to have a huge impact to help the young Calzada.
OB?
Yeah, I'm kind of along those lines. I'm leasing the passing game in general.
Okay.
Kind of following up what you said. They didn't have a great day throwing the ball. I don't know if they were going to have a great day if Haynes had been the quarterback. Maybe they would have, but it just seemed like the receivers were having trouble getting open. We know that there was a couple of drops. There was there was some overthrows. So I'm not going to sell it. I'm not giving up on that passing game. I still think they have some guys that can do some really great things, but need to actually do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave Zach Calzada with an option to buy. I just need to see a little bit more. I think this kid is intriguing. I want to see what he can do. So I'm going to lease him, obviously, not for the remainder of the season, but through our little, 6-7 weeks that we're going to have him at quarterback and with that option to buy, because he might be very special, guys. We just got to see him when he's got a full week to Jimbo in his ear and the 80% reps and whatnot. I am leasing Zach Calzada. All right. When we come back here on the program, that's bullcrap presented by Tom Line Plumbing. We'll get into that. But right now, I want caller number 1. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station. That is off of William D. Fitch and Greens Prairie. They are Aggie-owned and operated with a friendly staff and personal touch. They offer a monthly membership. We're going to give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station. 979-693-1150.
This is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Need help with your high wind or hail damage claims? Call Larry Winkler and the fine folks at United. United Roofing is your local professional family-owned business with over 40 years of service in the Brazos Valley. United is your insurance claims specialist, providing the most comprehensive full system labor and material warranty in the roofing industry. Call United today at 268-ROOF.
At United Roofing and Sheet Metal, we've got you covered inside and out.
For service you can trust and a job done right the first time, contact Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Whether it's commercial or residential, new construction or service, they have you covered. Tom and Shelby Line have been serving the Brazos Valley for 11 years, and their team of plumbers have more than 40 years of experience. Customer service is their highest priority. Trust your every plumbing need to Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Click TomLynePlumbing.com today.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
I can do this.
We believe in you.
Each day brings hope.
Every day, millions of people celebrate their recovery from addiction and mental illness while others begin their journey. Be a part of it. Share your strength, support, and hope. Join the Voices for Recovery. Together, we are stronger. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV, or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC, and you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Finishing up with Stephen McGee. It's a great Thursday morning, so thank you so much for listening. Right now, it is time for That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, a longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. You can check them out at tomlineplumbing.com. All right, Stephen, what's bullcrap, my friend?
Well, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I wouldn't give up on this football team just yet. I know that they're young. They're going to figure things out. Maybe they're not as good as we had hoped they were going to be, but we don't know that yet. Wouldn't jump off board. A 10-7 win, it's not pretty, but it is a win. And we are 2-0 going into New Mexico and likely going to be 3-0 headed into the SEC. And that's a good position to be. I'd argue that that's about as good as you can do, 3-0. So I would not jump off board yet with this Jimbo Fisher coach football team. He finds a way. His teams are always gritty. And I think that there's some good football out of this young team yet to be had. So don't jump off board. I'm not saying that that's bullcrap. Maybe that's not bullcrap, but I think there's some good things to come.
OB?
Did you see this story about the woman that went into labor at the Mississippi State football game? Southern Miss football game.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she went into labor, and so they had to close down one of the ramps, one of the tunnels.
Yeah.
So she could have her baby. And I think they eventually realized she was not going to have it right there if they had the time to get her to the hospital.
Sure.
But I was thinking, what's bullcrap? If that had happened at Kyle Field, if she had actually delivered, they would have charged her for that baby because no one is allowed to go into. You have to have a ticket if you're in Kyle Field. And I'm thinking, that's bullcrap. You know what? If you're not in the seat, if you're not taking up a seat,
yeah.
Say you have a baby and the sitter bailed on you, and you have nobody, to watch the kid. So, you got your season tickets. You want to go to the games? No. You can't bring that kid in.
Sorry.
So if this woman had her baby at Kyle Field, she would have been laying there, and they would have swaddled the baby and handed it to her. And said, "Now, where's $150 for this kid's ticket?"
I guess that is bullcrap,
That's
OB.
bullcrap, man.
All right, guys.
It's hard to believe that they were actually going to attempt to have the baby born in the stadium while a football game was going on.
That is got to be the luckiest guy in the world. If his wife is about to domino, but she's no, we're going to the game.
But you're about to give birth. Nah, we're going. We'll wait. We'll make it through.
Yeah. If it comes, it comes. We'll order an extra beer.
You know what else is bullcrap, guys?
What?
Realizing you're getting old. That sucks. So I turned 45 last week. I still think of myself as a 29-year-old. But in the last week, I have not only pulled my hamstring in a soccer match, I have woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take a flight out of Denver to get to Hughes or to College Station, wherever we were flying to, Austin, and drive to College Station. I'm still making up for the lack of sleep from Sunday morning. Yes, cry me a river. I get paid to go watch football games. But it sucks and it's bullcrap to get old because I still feel and think I'm the same guy I was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Obviously, I'm not, especially when my wife predicts you're going to pull a hamstring when you play in this game. I go, no, I'm not. And I pulled my hamstring. So,
you know, David, you're not really old until you said, because I thought you were going to be. When you said, I had to get up at 3 o'clock to take a flight. Now, if you said, I had to get up at 3 o'clock to take a leak, then I'd have said, yeah, welcome to my world. You're an old guy. And every old guy listening knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. Hey, hey, in the last minute we have here, Steve, we've got a text that came in for you. Here it is. It's from Joshua. It says, in your film break down the wide receiver position, talent issue, coaching issue. What did you see why the guys weren't able to get open? Or was it really all because of the timing with Zach?
You know, it seems to be there's an issue with our group of getting open versus man-to-man. When guys get down there and press these guys, they have a difficulty getting off that. And it doesn't seem like it's just one guy. It seems like it's almost across the board. I don't know what's going on in the field. It's hard for me to criticize the wide receiver coach in this case, but at some point, this group needs to take a big step forward, in my opinion, for us to be a really top caliber football team. And I honestly, for all the Jimbo Fisher years, I feel like that's the position group that's lagged everyone else.
They got some talent out there, and Austin in Dallas says, I've waited all week for this segment. Between you two guys, something great always happens, all right? So I appreciate that. Hey, and he also says the biggest bullcrap was the lack of hospitality shown in Denver last Saturday, cussing by fans, booing the band, throwing objects, visitors. That would never happen in College Station. You're exactly right. Mr. McGee, thank you so much. We'll see you next week, bro.
See you guys.
See ya. I just broed him on the air. Apologies. See you later, sir. OB, thank you, sir, for a great hour. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bro.
All right, brah. Can you drop a brah for me?
Brah.
Brah. There we go. When we come back here on the program, Ryan Swope joining the show, Aaron Torres a little bit later, and Bert Kuhn coming in at 9:50. The 9 o'clock hour is loaded. We'll talk to you then.
This is your home for TexAgs Radio. Louis Bellina. And Ship Howard. Now listen, this is The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
Listen to Texas A&M football, Texas A&M basketball, or Texas A&M baseball on your...
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. Expect to see more College Station police officers patrolling the Northgate district during daytime hours. Officer Tristan Lopez says they're increasing patrols for hazardous bicyclist and pedestrian violations. Lopez says a bicycle on a roadway is considered a vehicle.
Cyclists will fare best when they act and are treated as drivers of vehicles.
The increased patrol is in response to citizen complaints. The College Station City Council has directed staff to develop a 5-year plan to reduce the city's outdoor temperature by planting more trees on city property. The recommendation during the last council meeting came from John Crompton.
If we were able to plant 500 trees on our own properties, and you put those in at about, I don't know what they're going at now, probably with drip irrigation around $600 a tree or something. So you'd be looking at about 300,000 or something of that thing. These are arbitrary numbers.
Planning and Development Director Michael Ostrowski says reducing the impact of so-called heat islands addresses health concerns and can even improve water quality. A study done by a nonprofit organization shows temperatures in Bryan College Station are 6 degrees warmer compared to rural areas. Some of the pandemic information presented Tuesday to Brazos County commissioners by the Health District Director was challenged by County Judge Dwayne Peters.
What bothers me is that
mask, washing your hands, social distancing, those may all be effective in trying to keep us from catching COVID. But once you catch it, they don't do you any good.
Peters, who contracted coronavirus, has not been vaccinated. Bryan police arrest 2 women on charges of stealing $18 of merchandise from a store north of the downtown area, then injuring a store employee who was trying to retrieve the stolen items. That led to robbery charges against an unidentified 13-year-old and 18-year-old Marissa Hernandez of Bryan. Officers recovered the merchandise from Q Beauty at Texas and 21st. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Join the Brazos Valley Symphony as they present a free chamber music concert on Sunday, September 19th at 7 p.m. The concert will be held at the Pavilion at Lake Walk outside the Stella Hotel. Admission is free to everyone for this outstanding concert, featuring our BVSO Percussion Ensemble. Bring your lawn chairs and get ready for a fun, free evening of music with the BVSO at the Pavilion at Lake Walk outside the Stella Hotel Sunday, September 19th at 7 p.m.
Need help with your high wind or hail damage claims? Call Larry Winkler and the fine folks at United. United Roofing is your local professional family-owned business with over 40 years of service in the Brazos Valley. United is your insurance claims specialist, providing the most comprehensive full system labor and material warranty in the roofing industry. Call United today at 268-ROOF.
At United Roofing and Sheet Metal, we got you covered inside and out.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. 7th-ranked Texas A&M football has a new 12th man this season, with long snapper Connor Choate wearing the heralded number. Choate has played with 2 other number 12s in Cullen Gillespie and Braden White, but says he wants to make the position his own.
When I got named 12th man, I called Braden and he told me to be like just myself. Like I don't have to be Colin, I don't have to be Braden. So that kind of made me feel better inside. I was like kind of calm about it. Something I want to be different about is like I'm a specialist. So, like never really had that as a 12th man, as a long snapper. So just kind of bring, fun, energy that, Colin had and kind of take different parts from 12 men before and kind of, make it my own.
Connor and the guys will be back on the field this Saturday when they welcome New Mexico to town. Now, for more insight into the matchup, tune into the Bellucci Hour tonight from 6 to 7 right here on The Zone. Aggie men's golfer Sam Bennett notched his 9th career top 5 finish as he tied for 3rd at the Merido Collegiate Invitational yesterday. Now, as a team, the Maroon and White placed 6th at 17 over. And the Southeastern Conference has released its baseball schedule for the upcoming year. The Aggies will kick things off at LSU on March 18th, followed by a home series with Auburn starting on March 25th. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The Bellucci Hour Happy Hour is a must part of any Aggie football season. Join Billy Lucci of TexAgs and Zach Taylor, the Infomaniac, every Monday and Thursday at 6 at the Tap, or listen in right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Bellucci Hour Happy Hour every Monday, Thursday at 6 is brought to you by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Also brought to you in part by B&B Automotive. It's the Bellucci Hour Happy Hour.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Rollo Insurance, an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. The headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. You can call up 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com. It is now time to get it done with Ryan Swope. He joins us every Thursday at this time. What's up, Swopey?
What's up, David?
How you been, man?
How we doing, man?
Good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just good to see the Aggies get the W. It's all that matters, baby.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Ryan, regardless of how hard the game was, being 2-0, if you're Notre Dame, if you're A&M, whoever you are, you may struggle, but how you come out of it is the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. At the end of the day, a W is a W in this league, and that's all that matters. I think that probably Coach Jimbo and the team and those guys probably went back and looked at the film, and they were probably a little disappointed. But again, I think I said this last week, you're going to face some adversity. And we saw that on Saturday, losing Haynes King like that. But it's how you respond to that adversity. And, you know, how can you continue to drive the ball down the field? How can we continue to improve on tackling? It's the little things that win these games. And, you know, they managed to do it. And Isaiah Spiller stepped up, made a big play for us there at the end of the game. And that's what it takes. We need some more of those guys that are, you know, wanting that attention, wanting that spotlight, and willing to go execute. So now we just got to put that one behind us. You know, obviously we critique the film, but how can we be better next week?
All right, so it's time for Get It Done. Who got it done, in your opinion, last week against Colorado?
Man, Isaiah Spiller, I think that that's a pretty easy one. The kid I feel like he brings his A game just about every game. The kid just brings a ton of energy to the field. He brings leadership, and you can tell that he's hungry to win. And so and he had his opportunity. His number was called. He made that big play down the stretch, and just so happy for him. And I think that you need those kind of guys, those kind of moments. I know that we don't want those moments, you know, against I personally think it was a good Colorado football team. I thought that they've got a pretty good football team this year, but you know, he made a hell of a catch there at the end of the game.
All right, who will get it done this weekend against New Mexico?
I mean, I'll take our defense. I loved what I saw. If I can do that, I'll take them as a collective group. If they can continue to do what they're doing, swarming the football, you know, just getting pressure on our quarterback, blowing up winning the trenches up front. That I'll take that defense all day. You know, and people say, "Oh man, that was a boring game." That was such a boring game, and I mean, 15, 20 years ago, I don't think that's the case. That's kind of what football's all about, is a defensive battle. I feel like everybody these days, they want to go see a shootout. And I personally liked it. It kind of brought back those wrecking crew days, and, you know, our defense stepped up and got it done for us. And, you know, just, we had our playmakers step up just at the right time.
All right, and who will not get it done this weekend? Again, it doesn't have to be A&M. It could be all around college football anywhere, in NFL too, if you want.
I don't know, Big 12, Iowa State, Texas. I doubt that any of them get it done this weekend. So we'll see. Welcome to the SEC, baby.
I love that, the vibe out there. Hey, so I want to talk to you about the wide receiver position and what you saw from these guys, what you've seen the first couple of weeks. Some have been very critical of their inability to get open. Some of it has to do with the timing that Zach Calzada didn't have with them, that they're expecting a certain way a play run, the way Haynes was doing it. Talk to us from your perspective, what you're seeing from the wide receivers.
You know, I don't think that they've been hit with a new quarterback. You know, they've finally got they were just starting to get their chemistry down with, you know, Haynes King coming off spring and into the summer months. So they're building that chemistry with Haynes and Calzada as well. But I think that we knew that Haynes brought a little bit, he kind of had that spot, and for that to be kind of swept out from underneath him. And I'm not saying that they need to start over, because Calzada had a hell of a spring, as we saw. He's got a big arm, but you know, it can be frustrating. Honestly, my senior year, I go back to, we didn't know if it was going to be Jamil Showers or, you know, Johnny Manziel. It was kind of up in the air, and they named the starter that first week. And it took me 2 or 3 games to really even get going. I mean, I think I had 1 catch against South Carolina State and maybe 2 catches against Florida. And I, you know, this is my senior year. I, you know, wanted to come back for this. This is a big moment. I look back and I've two games and have 3 catches and not really hardly involved in the offense. And I think that these kids, it's kind of a similar situation. You know, Nias, he only had 2 or 3 catches this game. And I mean, that's his football team. So he's got to go into the coaches or go in and take leadership and take Calzada, and just deliver confidence. And as a receiver and a leader on that football team, it's kind of his job to step up and start making plays and just trying to get involved as much as you can. And I know that all those guys are at receiver were lacking a little bit of depth. And I think that's what more you're talking about is just not being able to go 5, 6, 7 receivers deep like we used to. So, but I think that in this offense, I think there's guys that you just need to be patient. Sometimes you deal with injuries. Sometimes there's a little adversity, some bumps in the road. If these guys can continue to be patient, their number's going to be called, and they're going to have an opportunity. It's just making the best of that opportunity, stepping up and delivering. So we'll see. I'd like to get Chapman involved more too. But it was tough on them this week for sure.
Right. I think that's really wonderful commentary there, especially talking about your first couple of games there with Johnny Manziel at quarterback, just getting used to that style and you guys getting on the same page. And I think a lot of it can be attributed to what we'll see here moving forward. What stood out to you about Zach when you're seeing him at his worst and at his best last week, which we saw both levels of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some things that I didn't care for. I think but that goes back to, I mean, I think McGee even touched on this, just it can happen like that, and your number can be called instantly in a snap, and there's nerves in there. There's nerves throughout his body. He's in a different environment. He's probably never played a game in Colorado. So there's a lot of things going through his head, and trying to process everything in such a short little amount of time. So there's some nerves in there. I did see some good things there at the end of the game. I thought he's got a lot of grit. One thing that's not really his fault, but he didn't have a ton of time back there. And he's not one where Haynes can get spooked out of the pocket and he runs a 4.4 and we're going to be okay. So that's going to be a little different. I think our offensive line needs to step up, and I think that the game plan was probably going in there. It's all kind of revolved around Haynes King, right? And how he can get us out of certain situations with his legs where now he goes down. Now we're trying to make adjustments on the fly. That's tough. And Calzada, I thought he did what he needed to do, and that was go in there and win us a football game. So all in all, looking at it, there's some things they need to work on. Obviously the accuracy. I think his eyes looking off safeties. I could tell that he's really attached to particular guys from the get-go. But that's normal. I think that Jimbo will take him this week and they'll really break down that film. And I think that we saw some really good balls from him, but we also saw some really bad balls. So I think that those bad balls, more nerves. And I think going forward, I think it's a big positive. He won us a football game, and that's a damn good team. So going forward, you got to just take the pauses away. And he doesn't have a lot of experience. So I think that was a plus. He found a way to get it done. That's all that matters.
Moving forward to New Mexico, what do you want to see from the team overall offensively that needs to gel?
Yeah, I think that there's one thing that I get frustrated about, and nothing on Jimbo. Jimbo does a hell of a job, but I'd love to see, some more bubble screens and some little 2 to 3 yard outs and get some of these playmakers the ball in space. That's my thing, is like, how can we get the ball in some space, whether it's a quick little, 2 yard out or just, step back bubble screen or whatever it might be. How can we get these explosive players the ball in space and let them do their thing? I think that maybe we'll see more of that now that we're not as elusive there at quarterback. And I think that that's going to be Calzada's bread and butters, those, short little quick throws and continue to move the chains. And but I'd really like to see some of that.
Ryan Swope with us here on the BCSI hotline. All right. I know that I'm going to get a smile bringing up the Texas-Arkansas game from you. I remember when we first met. Baby. Yeah, so just go on a Ryan Swope rant, if you will, please.
Man, that was good to see. All I got to say is welcome to the SEC, baby. Welcome to the SEC. You love to see it.
Isn't it funny, though, that, like, I don't want to say we. Let me rephrase this. But there's a lot of people who still aren't buying the Arkansas hype. Some people are really buying it, but there's some people who aren't. Yet it doesn't matter. If they beat Texas, it could be Rice this weekend. It could be anybody. It's just so much sweeter when that happens.
Doesn't matter. I'll buy the Arkansas hype. That's a damn good football team. They're well coached, and those guys can play. But I mean, that's the SEC in general. That's what they signed up for. You ask and you shall receive.
So, are you worried about Arkansas here in 2 weeks?
I wouldn't say worried. I mean, I guess if I was a player, I wouldn't be worried. But as a outsider looking in, I definitely think that it's concerning. I think they're a pretty daggum good football team, and I think that they know how to run the football. They got some big playmakers on the offensive side. So who do they have this week?
I don't remember who Arkansas. I just remember that Texas has Rice. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Come on, Dalton. Where we at, man? Who's Arkansas guy?
Doesn't matter. He's not going to tell us right now. Well, I'll look it up.
Oh, man. All right.
Georgia Southern.
There we go. Thank you, Dalton.
Okay.
Georgia Southern.
Well, hopefully they can take care of business over there. But I think they're a good team. I think that the SEC West is a lot stronger than we might have thought this year. I think Ole Miss is a really good football team.
Yes, sir.
I think that obviously Alabama's doing what they do. So, I mean, let's just put it this way. We're 2-0, and we're continuing to get better. I think Jimbo has even said that we haven't put together even close to a full football game, four quarters of football yet, which is, I mean, you got to take the positive way. How can we get better? And I think that if we can get some new guys involved, maybe I'd love to see some new playmakers step up and I guess from the receiver standpoint, running backs, we're good. Those guys are doing their thing and making plays, but I'd love to see maybe some of those younger guys get involved a little bit more.
That is Ryan Swope on the BCSI hotline. Ryan, we appreciate it, man. We'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Gig
sir.
and Aggies.
Gig and Aggies is right. All right, right now I want to remind you to text radio to 900-900 for your chance to win the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. And I'm going to pull it out. There it is. Look at this beauty right here. It's got the, as I drop all the boxes or the bags, someone give me a beer. This is a Travis Matthews collection. It is a beauty, right? Like it is the material. I'm feeling it. And I don't know if I'm selling it well enough on the air, but this is the kind of stuff that fits your body perfectly. It's very breathable. Give me a beer. Someone give me a beer. And then on the back, never give me a drink again, or I'm never drinking again. This is a really nice one. I need to be more prepared for this, but the Quattro Ranch Jello shots there are fantastic out there. You can get both of those when you come to Aggieland Outfitters. They do such a great job of getting the best products out there. The Quattro Ranch freeze-dried orange Jello is valued at $9.99, but you can also get the Travis Matthews Finest Bottle T-shirt, $39.99. So when you're coming in this weekend, stop by on your way to Kylefield. There's an Aggieland Outfitters right next to TexAgs. Stop by, take a look at all the great shirts that they have out there. It is Aggieland Outfitters here on TexAgs Radio.
You're listening to The Zone. Aggieland's all sports station.
First Financial is proud to be the title sponsor for the 2021 Chamber of Commerce Lobster Fest and Golf Classic, the Chamber's largest and most popular fundraiser of the year. Howdy, I'm Cal McNeil with First Financial, and come be a part of the two-day fundraising event. Enjoy lobster and steak dinner September 19th at the Brazos Center, and then tee off Monday, September 20th at Pebble Creek Country Club. Support your Chamber of Commerce and reserve a table, register a golf team, or become a sponsor. Call 260-5200 or log on to bcschamber.org for more information.
Please join Pink Alliance Thursday, September 30th for their 18th annual Surviving and Thriving Cancer Awareness Luncheon, sponsored by St. Joseph Health. Featuring Lori Allen, breast cancer survivor and reality star of Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta. Come hear Lori tell her story as we raise money to support breast cancer patients in the Brazos Valley. For tickets or more information, visit survivingandthriving.org. That's survivingandthriving.org.
Brian
Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long. Thanks to A&B, Blinn College, BCS Toyota, and Ed Phillips Plumbing. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at storycorpsconnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
The best is yet to come in College Station. Floater for Spiller. Touchdown, Aggies! Head coach Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies are ready to rise to the top of the SEC. Tackled short. The Aggies defense does it again. Join us Saturday. The Aggies host the New Mexico Lobos. Our coverage begins at 10 a.m. on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Online at radioaggieland.com. Or tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150.
All right, it's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate Ryan Swope joining us there on the BCSI hotline moments ago. So I'm looking at the YouTube page. Guys, we're getting closer and closer to another free hour for 5 more subscribers, whatever it is. How many more subscribers we got to go? We're getting very close to getting to 6,000. And when we get there, we'll do a free hour with Billy. If that's a Friday, if it's a Monday, we'll do it. We're getting closer to that, so we appreciate that. On there, we have our Up to the Second College Football show. Episode 3 came out this week. Tony Barnhart was the featured guest. We had a lot of analysis when it comes to the Notre Dame-Purdue game. We also have some breakdowns of Alabama versus Florida, which I don't know if anybody thinks is going to be close the way Florida's been playing and the way Alabama's been playing. We'll play part of that Tony Barnhart interview here momentarily, and we'll touch on the part where he talks about A&M for sure. But right now, let's go to the News and Social Center. We check in with the very loud but nice and deep voice, Tomas Romo.
I'm back here, David, and we got a text message here from Tejas Ag 10. He says the O-line needs to step up. If the O-line's able to step up, it creates a domino effect for everything else on the offense. It leads to a better run game, which takes away pressure from the quarterback, and then ultimately opens up the pass game by making the defense honor the run, as well as giving Calzada more time to pass.
I like that. It's good analysis there. Very good. What else do you have for me, Tomas?
I got one more for you. Spencer in Denver says, I'm thinking the only assessment that matters is the left-hand win column. The W is the most important thing, and the game plan was executed, and Calzada did what he had to do, so let's get another win on Saturday.
Yeah, I got to meet Spencer there in Denver this past weekend. Obi and I and Bronny and Jams, we all got to hang out a little bit. It was nice to meet Spencer, who always brings some wisdom to the A&B text line, so we appreciate that, Spencer, very, very much. Right now, though, I want to go into our interview with Tony Barnhart. Again, if you haven't watched our Up to the Second College Football show, it is the best show that we do that is not a TexAgs show out of the 3. No, it's not the best show. We got, 4 shows? It's in the top 5 of the shows that we do here at TexAgs. It's so good.
It's the best show that we do that isn't 100% Texas A&M.
Yeah, without a doubt. I know we do
or
a lot
high school football or recruiting.
Right.
But other in that niche category, it's our best.
If you of all the shows that have the name Up to the Second, it is the best by far, without a doubt. And really, the executive producer on that show, he is doing such a good job. Very, very underrated guy.
Gabe does great, yeah.
Oh, Gabe's involved?
Oh.
Dalton, I was trying to give you a compliment, my friend.
I don't like those.
Well, fine. You're suspended. You have to finish out the day, but you're still suspended. Right now, we go to our interview with Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, and up to the second, College Football. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, joining us. And Tony, I tell you what, I feel like with Alabama, it's like rinse and repeat, copy and paste. Whatever happens, it's the same result, and that's what we've seen so far.
Well, that's exactly right. I told some people, a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to a group. I said, I was wrong about Alabama because I said, Alabama, there is no way that Alabama can be as good this year as they were last year. But you sit there and look at what they lost. They lost 10 draft choices, Heisman Trophy winner at receiver, leading running back in the history of the school, starter for the New England Patriots at quarterback. On and on and on. But they haven't. It looked like they haven't missed a beat. Now we'll see. They got to go to the Swamp Saturday, and we'll see. We'll see what that's going to be like. But it's amazing how efficient and how talented they really are.
So how do you see that game playing out?
I think the numbers like 14.5, that seems a little rich in my mind, but and the Gators are going to be excited. I just think Alabama is so talented and they play with such precision. I don't know that something like the crowd is going to have an impact on them. They seem to be immune, or they can block it out. So I like Alabama to win the game. I don't know if I like them to cover the 14.5. But I do like Alabama to win the game.
Tony, how surprising has it been, some of these top programs out there struggling against whomever? You've got the LSU game, obviously early on against UCLA. They didn't look great last year. Oklahoma struggled on against Tulane. Notre Dame has struggled through 2 wins. Ohio State hasn't looked great in both of their games. A close game with Minnesota, then obviously the loss to Oregon. What do you make of it all?
Well, I don't know if there's any trend that we can identify, but a couple of things. Some teams aren't as good as we thought they were, and I think the fact you mentioned Ohio State, the fact that Minnesota was able to run pretty effectively against Ohio State, somebody told me that should have been a key right there. Texas is a team that's not anywhere nearly as good as people thought they were. We all got fooled by their win over Louisiana. Arkansas just lined up and just blew them off the ball. So I think it's a matter of where you are as a football program. And some weeks you don't handle it particularly well. But some cases you got to play those games to find out the truth. And the truth is, hey, you're not that good.
What about the team above your shoulder there, Georgia? Do you think they can win it all this year?
I do. Because of the defense is one of the best defenses I've ever seen, and I've been following Georgia for a long time. The offense is going to come around. They did okay against UAB, 56 points, not too bad. And people forget how good Clemson really is on the defensive side of the ball. But now that Georgia's beaten Clemson, the rest of the schedule sets up really nicely. The tougher games at home, except for Auburn, got to go to Auburn on October 9th. The rest of the schedule sets up fine. And, oh, boy, if you win them all, guess who's going to be waiting in Atlanta?
That's exactly right. Let me ask you this. How long does it take for you to really identify a team that is a legit national championship contender? Like, is it 2 weeks into the season, 4? Like, when do you see the trends to kind of say, yeah, this team could be playing there at the end of the year?
They got to play somebody, okay? They got to play somebody that is not there to pick up a check. And they got to play somebody who's got elite athletes on both lines of scrimmage. And then once you see a team like that play, after I saw Georgia play the game against Clemson, you said, okay, that's a team that could win the national championship. Don't know that they will, but they've got all the elements. Obviously, the first time you saw Alabama against Miami, you looked at that team and went, yeah, that's a team that can do it. We looked at our first game, Ohio State against Minnesota. We went, everybody's got them in their last 4. I don't know, and so you got to play somebody. So I'm anxious to see kind of how Clemson goes from here. I mean, Clemson said, hey, we gave up 3 points. The other points were a pick 6. We got a good football team. So we'll see, because they don't play much of a schedule either.
Tony Barnhart with us here. And, Tony, you mentioned Texas earlier, but what about Arkansas? How good is Arkansas considering that they were trailing the Rice. They destroyed a Texas team that was probably overrated. How good is Arkansas?
We don't know yet because they've got to play Texas A&M and they've got to play Georgia. They've got to play those teams that can line up with them and physically play the game. And so what Arkansas did was impressive because, frankly, they just lined up and kicked Texas the whole game. But we don't know how good they're really going to be until they play against the Texas A&Ms and the Georgia and people like that.
What do you make of Texas A&M struggling there against Colorado, obviously using their backup quarterback there in Zach Calzada? The defense, elite. I don't know if they're at Georgia level just yet, but they were pretty elite in that second half. What do you make of them?
Defense was really Texas A&M. Very impressed with what they've done there. Now the question becomes, obviously, you're going to be without Haynes King for several weeks. The injury was required surgery, and it's going to take some time. The question is, can Zach Calzada take you where you want to go? I talked to my man Billy Lucci a pretty good bit, and I know he's got a major league arm. There's no doubt, but can he make the variety of throws that you've got to make to play that position? Can he show the leadership skills? I heard Jimbo today at his presser, talking about he was very pleased with Zach's leadership skill because I got to give him credit because you got a touchdown going in and the ball comes out of your hand right at the goal line. You take that touchdown off the board, and a lot of teams would pack it in and say, hey, we're on the road. This is not our day. But to give Calzada credit, he led the team, got the team down the field when he had to, and he was a very smart man. He got the ball in Isaiah Spiller's hands, which I always think is a very smart thing to do.
All right, Tony Barnhart there on Up to the Second College Football. Let's do a quick phone call on the BCSI hotline. Film Grinder, you want to break down the running game?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Hey, real quick point about what to expect from the running game the next couple weeks. So you've seen a lot of heavy zone blocking up front. I don't think that that's a bad thing. They're really not too good at it right now, the offensive line for A&M. That's not a talent issue. That's a communication issue, and that's a reps issue. You see a lot of parallels with the 2012 offensive line that had 4 or 5 stars all over the place. They struggled early in the year against Florida and a couple games after that with their zone scheme. Later in the year, with more reps, more live action, more communication, they were blowing OU and all these other guys off the ball. I'm not saying you're going to expect the same thing, but you guys, we got to give them a little more time, especially this week against New Mexico, to kind of figure that out. And then going forward, I really hope we'll see a little bit more gap blocking scheme. You saw the offense open up with like a really, really nice power play that Jimbo runs, had that two back set, pulling a guard, pulling the H back, and leading with the fullback. I hope we see that a little bit more, but that we're not in a dire situation with the line. We have to give them a little more time to develop that zone blocking this week, and I hope we see more gap blocking going forward. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Film Grinder, call next week afterwards and give us your analysis, all right? Thank you very much there on the BCSI hotline. Right now, I want to talk about Chance McClain. YourHeritageFilm.com is the website. Your heritage means a lot to you, right, guys? Where you came from, where your family came from, it should mean a lot to you, and you should have someone who can do it professionally, Netflix style, tell your story in a biography style, documentary-esque video. And that's what Chance McClain does with Heritage Films. They're so good at what they do. He started 1560 The Game in Houston. He's done musicals, Broadway shows. He's done movies. He's done everything, right? He's done sideline stuff for the Chronicle. Like, you name it, Chance McClain has done so many different things out there. But he's excelling right now doing Your Heritage Films. Heritage Films is just incredible at what they do out there. They're not advertising elsewhere. It's a 8 to 10 week process. He shows up, interviews, brings the lights, brings the whole crew, and it's just an amazing experience that your father, your grandfather, your boss, whoever it may be, they're really going to love the experience. And then you as a family are going to be able to share this memory forever. Your kids, your grandkids, you name it. YourHeritageFilm.com, YourHeritageFilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Learning at the library with the Brazos County Master Gardeners is this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Mounts Library. Help make Christmas happen for a family in need. This Saturday, come out to a benefit at Fort Half Moon Saloon in Somerville for live music, food, and live and silent auctions. Contact Dogs Motorcycle Club for more information. Navasota Theater Alliance presents the Sugar Bean Sisters. Performances run through Sunday. Email navasotatheateralliance@gmail.com to purchase tickets. Hospice Brazos Valley is offering 3 groups dedicated to assist adults grieving a loss. There is no cost to attend, but RSVP is required. Call 979-821-2266. Your home for the NFL with Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night NFL from Westwood One is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Listen in from the first week to the Super Bowl on Aggieland's home for sports. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Howdy, Ags. This is Dr. Krishna Shanmugam from BCS Eye Associates. I'm a fellowship-trained cornea and glaucoma specialist and eye surgeon, but most importantly, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2007. I was born in Aggie, raised in Aggie, and now back in the Brazos Valley to serve Aggieland, the incredible place that made me the person that I am today. We're the only fellowship-trained glaucoma, cornea, and cataract surgeon in town, and would be delighted to take care of you locally for your eye exam and your eye surgery needs. Give us a call to schedule an appointment today with Dr. K at BCS Eye Associates at 979-701-2020 or visit mybcsi.com.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
If you missed Louie, you missed.
Let's head out now to the Smoothie King hotline because, well, most of my guests don't live next door to me. Matter of fact, most of them live in Nashville. We're joined by Braden Gall of 440 Sports and ESPN Radio.
It's not that they're the Penn State fans or the Ohio State fans or the USC fans, the ones that love their team. They don't love their team any more than Texas A&M fans love their team. There's just a whole lot more of the A&M fans that are at that sort of rabid level, and that's the difference in the SEC. And what that leads to is spending $600 million on facilities. What that leads to is $90 million guaranteed contracts. What that leads to is expectations, and that is what fans in other conferences don't fully grasp. And the Pac-12 is guilty of this. A lot of the ACC schools, because it's a bunch of Boston colleges and Wake Forest and
higher education that thinks they know better than sports.
Look, I have no problem with people prioritizing education over athletics. That's fine.
I think you don't.
Listen to Louie from 11 to 2 weekdays on The Zone. Brought to you in part by Rudy's Barbecue.